As we all know, this video is for the cardboard chair. Our main objective was to basically create a cardboard chair that follows all of the rules and holds about 150 pounds. The problem statement was that most elementary schools want a cheap, durable, comfortable, and effective chair for elementary students that is easy to replace. More and more elementary schools are coming to the realization that elementary students are immature and destructive, so the students need a chair that will not break and keep them comfortable while keeping them visually stimulated. The design statement was to design, market, test, and mass produce a cheap and effective and strong cardboard chair that is able to support the weight of an average elementary student, which isn't 150 pounds, but taken into consideration that they will jump and probably tilt back in the chair, it will most likely be around 150 pounds. The chair research really helped me figure out how to design my chair. It helped me come up with certain ideas and how I wanted to shape my chair in general. I used a lot of cardboard sites that helped instruct me on how to construct the cardboard chair. And although some of them looked interesting, some of them were not doable with the certain constraints that we had. I also listed some other chairs that we see in classrooms usually, and at the end I listed certain links that I thought were very helpful, but they did not have any dimensions, which were part of the research requirements. This is the class measurement Excel spreadsheet. Mr. Strong provided us with the data, and all that was needed to find was the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. One could simply do this just by using simple shortcuts in Excel. The popliteal length is measured from one's underside of their foot to the underside of their thighs vertically. The buttock popliteal length is measured from one's rearmost self to the backside of the person's knee horizontally. The specific dimensions of the chair were decided based on the size of the cardboard. We tried to make the profiles as large as possible to fit into the research statistics, but we did not want to create the profiles on a fold because that would weaken the overall structural integrity of the profiles, which will be supporting the main weight of the person who sits on the chair. Thankfully, the cardboard was just the right size to be able to still be in the range of the statistics, even though it is on the smaller side. Here are 20 brainstorming sketches. The chairs first start off as very simplistic, and they further evolve into more complex chairs, each evolving in simplest changes, and some of them were better than others, and some of them had very weird cutouts at the bottom, especially the last two ones, which are stars. This is Design Matrix 1. The overall concept of Design Matrix are to help an individual rank their items from worst to best or best to worst. This was used in the cardboard chair project to figure out which brainstorming ideas were the best and which ones were the worst. On the left side are the ideas and the names of all the brainstorming ideas, and to the right of them are the constraints, ranging from comfort, aesthetic, back support, calf support, bottom shape, and convenience. The top three ones were the slanted back slanted chair, rounded slanted back slanted chair, and the slanted star chair. This is decision matrix number 2, and just like the last one, the whole main idea for this is just to figure out which ideas are the best and the worst. This one compares the top 3 ideas from both partners. The constraints are different from the last one, and they're more improved. They are comfort, aesthetic, back support, calf support, butt support, and simplicity. The top 2 ones were the slanted star chair and the rounded slanted back slanted chair. This is a slanted star chair sketch. It made it through the second design matrix and was one of the top 2 designs. It is a pretty simple design, which is why there is an added star cutout near the bottom. It only has 2 profiles, and looking back on this, I find that's a pretty bad idea because it offers no structural integrity whatsoever for the person who sits on top of the cardboard. It has 3 covers that, well, does exactly as it sounds like it does, covers the chair. It connects both the two profiles by having slits cut into them and also slits cut into the two profiles. There are 3 covers total, and they wrap around the cardboard chair in certain areas. The first one wraps around the cushion area and leg area. The second one wraps around the back and near the top and some of the back support area too. And the third one just covers the leg area. This is the rounded slanted back slanted chair, and that is the second one that made it through the second design matrix. It is a pretty complicated design and originally was going to be the way that the chair was going to be built, but while building it, the design got changed because the structural integrity needed to be better. We also realized that there needed to be less C-shapes, which connected the profiles together because that weakened the cardboard and also would not be able to support the person who sits on the chair. Inventor parts list of the rounded slanted back slanted chair. This shows the both exploded view and this chair only has 2 parts, the profile and the C-shapes. This is clearly shown by the parts list that is located in the bottom left corner. This chair was hard to assemble, but it was easy to sketch. It was hard to assemble because of the various ways that it can be connected with each other and figuring out which type of constraint to use. This here is a mock-up. It was started over several times because there were too many slits in overall for the C-shapes. And also it was restarted over because the cardboard was not even an inch or not even a centimeter thick. It is slightly corrugated, which is pretty hard to tell if not looking directly at it. And the C-shapes, you can't even tell if it's a corrugated or not. And overall, it was pretty hard to build because of the weak cardboard and also how there are too many slits in the profiles. This is the final prototype. Unlike the building of the mock-up, this prototype was taken into a lot of consideration. From all of the components, everything was measured out and planned out thoughtfully. The construction first started out with the sketching of profiles. Once all 6 profiles were cut out, then came the U-shapes, or known as the linkage arms, which are overall 15. And after many trial and error, we figured out how to connect the linkage U's or linkage arms to all 6 of the profiles. Once all of those were connected and everything was cut out, then we started on to the lumbar support. For this, we kind of winged it, even though we sketched out a design. We slightly bended the paper into a sort of bulging U to make the person who sits in this chair sit up straight instead of slouching. Once that was finished and added into the cardboard chair, then came the wrap that goes around majority of the entire project. It starts from the bottom of the chair and it wraps around from the legs to the seating area, to the back, and to the top, and then to the actual back of the chair. And it wraps in all one consecutive piece of cardboard, and it wraps with bends and little inserts in it, just like the linkage arms. Everything is connected either by the linkage arms or by the linkage overall wrap. This is a very pleasing design style because it has an overall clean look to it because of the overall cover that covers the entire cardboard chair. The support beams or the C-shapes that stick out also give it a little bit more style and feel to it. The lumbar support gives it kind of a little comfy, homey look, and also kind of makes it look kind of like a pillow. And this is the chair description of the prototype. While filming throughout the construction of the chair, mainly forgetting to turn on the camera while creating the chair, but it still has consecutive clips of the entire process. The overall design took a great deal amount of time to be able to cut out, plan, and also construct it all within the given amount of time, but we did it though. The construction required a lot of precise work, and even when we measured, we still got a couple of things wrong. And for some reason, some of it still didn't work whenever we measured it precisely. We planned out beforehand how each pieces should be and what we should cut out. First, we started to cut out the profiles one by one, which was a very long process because of how large they were, and also because of how thick the cardboard was. Then after that, we did the linkage arms, which were not easy. Once we figured out how many linkage arms we needed and how many slits we had to make into the profiles, we then needed to figure out where the slits needed to go in the linkage arms. Then after we figured out the slits, we had to figure out then how to fold the linkage arms, which were also not easy too because of the thickness of the cardboard, which is 1/4 of an inch. Once we made all 15 linkage arms, we then connected them to the profiles, which were not easy yet again, because not all of them were the same size because the profiles were not all the same size. Then after we added the linkage arms, we decided that it needs more support, so then we decided to add support beams inside the cardboard. Then after the support beams, we decided to add lumbar support to the chair. This was a little fun to figure out how this should be designed and sketched and cut out. Once we decided how we wanted it to, we cut it out and assembled it to the profile. Everything that has been assembled so far has been through grooves that are cut in the profile and also the linkage arms. Both of them have grooves in it that intersect with each other, further putting the linkage arms into the profile. Once everything was added, we then decided that it just still didn't look finished enough, so then we added a cover then. The cover wraps around from the base of the chair, and it wraps around from the legs to the seat, and then it indents into the seat just to make sure it stays there then, and then it goes and curves around the lumbar support, and then it continues around to the back of the chair, and then it inserts to the back of the chair. The cover added a nice and refined look to the overall look of the cardboard chair, and that is the assembly of the cardboard chair. For testing of the cardboard chair, we decided to go to the park that's near my house. When we arrived to the park, we realized that there was a get-together of a group of children and their parents. We decided that is an opportune moment to be able to test our cardboard chair. From there, we were able to get 10 people to test a chair in a very short amount of time. All of them were eager to try to sit on the chair because they thought it was an interesting idea, and I think some of them want to try an engineering class in the future.